No, you should be okay. Well, I don't know where your diagonal is. Yeah, of course it is. 4,000 square feet, and we put the camera right where it's going to be in the way. Okay, so when I went to edit, I realized that the microphone on my main camera was not working again. So I think I have it figured out now, but all the stuff we shot yesterday doesn't have sound. So kind of got to talk through what we did yesterday, and then I'll show it on video as well. So we kind of started by picking a random point where we wanted the front of our house. So we kind of had it laid out with the gravel. The gravel pad was about 50 by 110. So we just picked this point up here in the corner and set up some batter boards. I ripped down some 2x4s and then cut them on an angle for some stakes. And then from there, we just picked a point behind where we wanted the front corner of the house and then drove in the batter boards. And then from there, we went down to the other side and picked a point that looked pretty straight. Looked like the front of the house was going to be in a straight line. So as you can see here, since now we have it already done, the yellow line runs straight. The gravel's not straight, but the yellow line is straight where we want the house. So once we got that, we measured out 40 feet on this line to get it close, and then we measured the diagonal. So when we did the diagonal, that gives us a right triangle, which using the Pythagorean theorem, you can find out what that measurement needs to be. I just used a calculator online to find out what that measurement needs to be. So the front of the house is 64 feet and the side of the house is 40 feet. So using those two, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we're able to find the diagonal, which off the top of my head, I think it was 75, 5, and 21 32nds. So 75 feet, 5, and 21 32nd inches. So once we got that diagonal, that gave us the right triangle. So from there, then we could take the back wall and come off 64 feet from there and basically fill in the other half of the square with another right triangle. So again, we just set up batter boards on both sides, both corners. And what I actually did after I got it all set up is our garage and our house, the back wall of both are going to be on the same plane. So the garage is shorter. The garage is 32 wide, the house is 40 wide. So the garage will sit back 8 feet. So at the front of the house will sit out 8 feet farther than the garage, but the back wall is level. So I moved the batter board from this corner of the house to down there because this line, this string line here, is going to be the same plane all the way across. So I moved that batter board, and then this corner here where it intersects is the corner of the house. So I have not done the garage yet, but we do have this back wall for reference, and then it'll run on this wall, the side wall of the house as well. So all I need to do is get that angle, which I type into the calculator for my diagonal, and then when I get that, I should be able to fill in the other two sides as well. So here you can see the string lines are just held on by 2 screws, and as you're going and you need to move them, you can see all these other little holes that I have. So I'm just tweaking the string lines ever so slightly to make sure that we're perfectly square. So now we would run a string line from this point right here, this diagonal, down this line to the same crosshairs on the other side. that'll give us 40 feet. And then when we go this way to the crosshairs on that side, that will give us 64 feet. And then, like I said, this from here to the other side is the diagonal, which I believe was 75 feet, 5 and 21/32 inches. So 5 and 5/8 is pretty close to that. So if all those numbers are square, which they were, that means our building is square. So this is the most important step, squaring up the layout, because if this is wrong, then your footers are going to be wrong, the post holes are going to be in the wrong spot, the posts are going to be in the wrong spot, and everything going forward is just going to be slightly off. So you want to make sure this is as close as possible down to the smallest number you can. So my tape unfortunately doesn't go down to 21/32. It doesn't go down to 30 seconds, so I can't get down that close. But 1/8 of an inch, I'm right on with 1/8 of an inch, so we should be fine there. So unfortunately, like I said, I lost all the sound on the first half, so setting up the house is kind of a quick run through. We'll do the garage next, and we'll make sure the cameras are on for that, so that you can kind of see it in real time how that works, laying out the house. But like I said, we already have 2 lines for the garage. We have the back wall and the one side wall, so the garage is going to be a lot easier because we only have to find the diagonal and then fill in the other 2 sides. Okay, so to measure the front of the house again, we're going to measure right here from the nail to this corner is 2 1/8 of an inch. So when we go down to the other side, it should be at 64 feet, 2 1/8 of an inch. So we'll go down there. So when we pull it tight, we're at 64 feet, 2 1/8 of an inch. So that means our front wall is where it has to be. So we'll measure down the side wall now, and then we'll measure diagonal, and that'll make sure that the house portion is square, and then we'll go and set up the garage. Okay, so on the other side to the crosshairs, we're 1 foot 6 3/8, and right here to these, we are 1 foot 6 3/8. So that means the front wall and this side wall is perfect. So now we'll measure the diagonals, and that'll show us if we're right on or not.
All right, it's 11 inches and 3/8.
So that means we need to be at 76 feet 5 inches. I'm gonna pull tight. We are at, it's hard to see, 76 feet 5 inches. Okay, so we just rechecked the house. We made a couple of adjustments. We got all 4 sides at the lengths they need to be, and both diagonals are right on at 75, 5 and 5/8. So it's a 1/16 of an inch off. Actually, it's a 32nd of an inch off, but that'll be fine because when we drill the footers, we can move the brackets ever so slightly once we drill those footers and put the wet set brackets in. So now we'll work on the garage. We marked, you can see right here, we put a mark on the line, put a little tiny black mark. That's, oops, no, sorry, wrong one. Where is it? Oh yeah. Okay, so for the garage, we put a tiny little black mark on the string line. That's 8 feet off the front corner of the house. That's how much our garage sits back. So this is where the front of the garage will be. So we got this wall here, and then we have the back wall. So with those 2, we can run a diagonal. We also put a black mark on that string line over there. So from these 2 black marks, we can run our diagonal, we can run the tape, and then that will tell us whether or not the garage part is square. Okay, so we know this line is 32 feet for the garage. We know the back line is 40 feet. We got those two marked. So we'll run our tape on our two black marks, and our diagonal needs to be 51 feet, 2 and 11/16.
I'm holding it at 1 foot.
Okay, 1 foot. So she's holding that 1 foot, so we need 52, 2 and 11/16. And that is right on 52, 2 and 11/16. It's right between 5/8 and 3/4, which is 11/16. So now we know the garage portion. We know the sidewall and the back wall is still square, which it should be because those were both from the house. So if the house was square, that means those two walls for the garage should be square. So now we'll just throw up two string lines for the front of the garage and the other side of the garage. And we're just gonna toss those up kind of over the mark wherever, and then we'll measure those and make sure they're in the exact spots that we need. Okay, so now we'll run down the other side. Try not to trip over these string lines. And we'll put a screw in on this side at what we think looks straight. Okay, so she's just looking at our mark over there, and that should get us pretty dang close.
Almost there. Right there.
Is that too far?
No, it's like right on.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, how I tie these string lines, I just flip my hand over, twist it a few times, 5, 8 times, doesn't really matter exactly. Then you loop it back over the screw, and then when you pull this side, you pull towards you with the long string line, and then it cinches it up. And then when you come back with the short one, it makes it tight. Okay, so we are close to the mark here. Our mark is right here. So we got that string line close. Now we'll go down the other side. We'll add in another screw, see where we're at. Okay, so now we're gonna measure this front wall and put a mark on the string line just to get it close. We need to be at 40 feet. Okay, so she's 4 feet 6 and 3/4, so we need to be 44, 6 and 3/4. So put a little mark on our string line. And now we can move this over. Add a screw with it. Okay, so flip your hand over, grab a circle, and then twist it 4, 5, 8 times, whatever. Loop it over your screw, and then you pull the long side towards you and the short side away from you, and that cinches it up. And then you come back with the short side, and then this here will snap close to the screw. Like that. And now the string line is nice and tight. So if you need to loosen it, you just take the short side back out. It loosens it up over here, and then you can pull some more, make it nice and tight. And there you go. That's all there is to it. Yeah, of course it is. 4,000 square feet, and we put the camera right where it's going to be in the way. He's right there. Okay, you got a foot? So we need 51, 2, and 11/16. 51, 2, and 11/16 plus a foot. So we're off 3 inches, 4 inches. So let's measure this back wall, because we haven't measured that one yet. We just threw these lines up.
Should have gone the other way.
Huh?
This should have gone the other way.
What?
Because that has the screw.
Oh, what the? We're off on this line. I can see it over here already from our mark.
One 11 and 3/8. A fourth.
111 1/4.
Yeah.
I'm at 11 7/8. So we need to bring that one 5/8 of an inch towards me. Which is probably about right. That's where that mark is.
Yeah.
5/8 of an inch. Okay, so can you hold the tape tight? Okay, you're 11 1/4. So we need to go to 11 7/8. Right there. Let's try that. Pull it tight. Eleven 7/8. So let me go down here and check this again. What are you at? 111 7/8.
Yeah, it's between 3/4 and 7/8.
Perfect. Okay. So we got that one. So let's measure this side now.
Which one?
This way. See where we're at.
Three foot 2 1/4.
Three foot 2. So that's how it needs to come out. Okay.
This way?
Huh?
This one?
No, the front corner. Needs to go that way because I'm at 34, 8.5. So 34, 8.5. What did you say you were at?
3 2 1/4.
So 35, 2 1/4. So essentially, we just need to move this one to. Can you hold this tight? We essentially just need to move out to 8.5. You hold yours again at 52, 2 3/4. Okay, so now we're measuring the diagonals. We just measured the one diagonal and it is right on. 52 feet, 2 3/4 inches. So we're just burning a foot on these tapes because it's easier that way. You good? And here we are again. I'm right at 1 foot and she's at 52, 2 3/4. So now we know the garage is square. This is good. Okay, now we know the garage is square, the house is square. So from here we can lay out where we're gonna do our footers and mark those areas. What do you think? You think the house is going to be big enough?
I think so. It looks smaller, but now that we have the string line up, it kind of looks
yeah, the
big.
gravel pad looked really small, huh?
Yeah. You can kind of picture it better.
But we already ordered our house, so we can't change it even if it was too small. So, like I said earlier, the house is 64 wide by 40 deep. And the garage sits 8 feet back from the front, and that's 40 wide by 32 deep. So we'll put 3 garage doors, 3 9-foot garage doors on the front, and that'll be big enough for the time being until we build a shop down the road. But so as you can see, I don't know if it comes up on camera, but there's string line that goes over. So that intersection right there is the garage and the house. So you can see right up here, that's the front of the house. And then down here is the garage. So driveway will come in, and then we'll have a concrete pad outside of the garage, and then we'll go out to the gravel driveway. And then from the driveway, we'll do some sort of stone walkway to the front door, which will be right about where it's all dirt over there, maybe on the far end of that dirt patch. And then the front porch is, I think, 10 foot by 9 foot. And then the back porch is 8 feet deep, and it's gonna run the whole length, the whole 64-foot length. That's what we have materials for. We may change it. Our master bedroom's on the far side, so we may not have the porch onto the master. We're not sure yet. We're thinking partial screened in porch, so maybe we'll keep the whole thing. But then there will be nothing behind the garage. But we will add in fill dirt on the backside and grade all of this. The whole property way back there, it kind of slopes all down into here. So if you've seen on the previous videos where it floods, it kind of all floods in there. So the house side doesn't flood anymore, but all the water comes down off the pasture. So we'll grade this whole backside, and then we'll grade over here into the gully. We may add another pad here for RV parking in the future if somebody comes and visits, but we'll put dirt and grade this whole area. So that's it for now as far as what we can do on the house. We ordered the materials and we are just waiting. So my hope is that they're here beginning of October, first or second week of October, but we don't have shipping confirmation yet. So I'm hoping to get that later this week or the beginning of next week. And then from there, we can start drilling footers. Then we need to have an inspection when the footers get drilled, and then we can pour concrete and start setting brackets, and then we should be making some progress, hopefully. So